Hey guys, my name is Rebekah Harmon, and this is a campaign for hope. And the message that I hope to share with you is that recovery from depression and anxiety is possible. That's right, I did not just say management, I said recovery. You have more control over your brain chemistry than you have been led to believe. Who am I to tell you this? Well, I'm a cute little mama with lots of titles, but the one that matters to you is that I am a survivor. I have been led through the pit of despair. And in the mental health world, we call this a peer supporter, because I have been down to the dark place of mood disorder, and I have now recovered and climbed out. And I am here to tell you what the journey looked like and what it could look like for you. When I was faced with the enormous challenge of perinatal depression and raising my other 4 children and dealing with developing a human being, I started to feel that my symptoms were becoming intense and I needed to do something. And I was in stage number 1, you can see on this chart that I'm pulling up, stage number 1 of realizing that there is something going on and that something needs to change. And I took my issues into my practitioner, and my very caring practitioner told me that he had 2 options for me, and you may have heard this: a prescription pad and a referral to psychiatric services. And normally I'm like super independent with my health, and it's really important to me that I do everything that I can at home, self-reliance with my healthcare. But it was getting pretty bad, and so I was begging him, what else can I do? And my loving practitioner gave me encouragement, and he said, if you don't take these 2 options, then you're going to have to figure this out on your own, Rebekah. So I went home with these referrals and trying to figure out what this new normal meant for me. And this is stage 2. And for most people, this is a really sad and disheartening phase where you begin to let the disease take its hold on your life and you let go of things that you love. Like for me, I let go of my business and I let go of my church responsibilities and a lot of expectations I had on myself to be a good mother for certain things. And I gave up hobbies and I gave up hope that life could be the way that I wanted it to be. And this is the phase 2, that's all about like living through the new normal. And so I was looking for ways to naturally treat my symptoms, and so I was searching everywhere, and I pulled this up. It's a document that I found right on the NAMI's website, and you can see that in the top several steps, it's like do everything you can clinically, because that's our first answer. And then there's like this tiny snippet at the bottom that says that you should eat well and exercise and get regular sleep, develop a support network, and be mindful of your new limitations, and then wait, because all of these treatments can take up to months to be effective. And I was like, poop on that. I don't want to feel like this for months. So I kept looking. I didn't give up, and I found some more specific guidelines for natural treatments on Dr. Furman's website. He's a practitioner that is a family practitioner, and he deals with nutritional excellence to reverse a lot of chronic diseases. And so I've used him in the past and trust his advice, and he gave me a little bit more specific, but kind of the same basic outline. You need to regularly exercise, and he gave me more tips on how and why and how much and how intense and things like that I needed to know, because at that moment I was not about to run a half marathon. Like, I needed baby steps, and so what could I spend my time on to give me the best results? I had to figure that out for myself. The second thing that he says is eat a diet rich in phytochemicals. So not just a healthy diet, as you saw from the other website, which has a lot of vague room for interpretation. As I'm sure you know, healthy diet can mean a lot of things. He expressed that a healthy diet is rich in phytochemicals. So we're looking for plant nutrition, things like vitamin C and folate and other vitamins and minerals and isothiocyanoids that help your brain express, like give your brain a fighting chance to express its brain chemistry the best that it can. And so he gives a pretty detailed outline on what that healthy diet should look like. He also talks about morning light, and that it's really important, phototherapy is what other people call it, to get out in the sun's rays in the morning. Another cool thing that he talks about is getting enough omega-3s. And he said that most people are deficient in omega-3. So here are like the 4 core ways to treat my depression naturally that I started working on. But there was like so much room for interpretation, and I spent 18 months troubleshooting what that meant, like how much exercise, what kind of exercise was the most effective for me, how often should I exercise, and I obviously needed to eat a lot more fruits and vegetables, and I was pregnant, and trying to figure out how I could get those all in a day, and get outside with my hooligans, and was I eating enough omega-3s, and it was a long and kind of icky process, and I did find relief from some of my depressive symptoms, but to be honest, I began at this point to lose hope that recovery was possible and that I would ever climb out of the pit. So, enter Dr. Nedley's video. Bum, 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 bum. I watched this video by Dr. Neil Nedley. He is a leading physician in internal medicine and depression and anxiety recovery treatments. And I saw a video of his, and through his advice and his philosophies, I was able to climb out of the pit. Like, dun, 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 dun. I will tell you more about his philosophies and how it makes a difference in the next video, so keep watching. But in this video, I just need to communicate to you that I had hope once again after watching like this 30 minutes of my life, and I was on fire with the chance that I could feel the way that I wanted to feel again. So recovery is possible. And I'm not just telling you that you can get back to normal, but I'm telling you that you can be stronger than you ever were before, as I've become. And I'm going to compare my journey to Plato's allegory of the cave, which is this nifty ancient story that Plato uses in order to illustrate his point. So imagine, there we all are in the cave. There's a cave, and we are imprisoned, and we've lived there our whole lives, and we're chained in such a way that we can't see other people and light, and all we get to experience of the world is somewhere behind us there's a light, and it's casting shadows. So we see shadows of things in the cave, like, you know, dogs and children and adult humans and probably scorpions and, you know, worms and spiders and other terrible things you would see in a cave. And we use those shadows and the noises that we hear echoing, and we give those things names: dog, child, adult, female, male. And eventually, one of the slaves gets to leave the cave. He somehow manages to escape. And outside the cave, he is overwhelmed by the sun. And it takes him a while to adjust. And through speaking with other people, he realizes that these ideas of shadows and sounds of echoey things, they're just shadows. And that they're only a silhouette of what exists, the real, the true form of what exists. And he's like blown away by this, and he loves the sun, and he loves grass, and he loves swimming, and he goes back to the people in the cave. But the cave is dark to him now, and he stumbles around, and he's trying to communicate to the people in the cave that there's so much more to life. They actually think that his journey has made him stupid, and that he's lost his mind, and they violently reject any attempt that he makes to free them. And so the communication that there's so much more to life is lost on them. So who do you think lives in the cave? I would suggest that not just people with mood disorders, but the majority of people who accept that it's okay to live a shadowy life, live in the cave. And I have been outside the cave, and you guys, there is more energy, there is more feeling of purpose, there is more focus, there's greater emotional intelligence and independence, there are better relationships, there's this weird thing called self-love, and you'll begin to feel it once you leave the cave. There's dreams, there's creativity, there's smiles, there's laughter, and there's richness that you never even occurred to you inside the cave. And I'm telling you, when you leave the cave, you will know that recovery is possible and that you can feel better than you ever have before. I know some of you are thinking, but Rebekah, I can't afford alternative treatments. Like getting a massage a week would break me. And I'm excited to tell you that everything that I'm going to teach you over the next couple of videos is either cheap or it is completely free, and you have the power to make these changes financially. Some of you might be saying, I do not have time for this stuff. Like Rebekah, I can't exercise, I'm not going to meditate. I seriously don't even have 5 minutes to poop by myself without kids banging on the door. And to you mothers, I would say I've been there. And if I promise that if you take 5-minute snippets of your day and deal with this pounding on the door, those 5 minutes will return to you, and you will begin to feel the spiral, and those investment of 5 minutes will create change as you improve those 5-minute snippets. Some of you also might be sadly thinking, this must not be for me. I can't risk doing anything that changes my medication expression. And to you, I'm excited to say that everything I'm going to teach you is pharmacist approved to not mess with the medications that you're already taking. I know that they're an important part of your care plan, and so I would never tell you to quit. And in fact, everything that I'm going to tell you will improve how well you experience medication effectiveness. And you can tell your practitioner, I'm going to try this, 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 and this, and he or she will say, that is a good idea. You should do those things. So nothing I'm going to tell you will mess with your medications. So I'm excited to teach you more in the next video about Dr. Nedley and how his theories and his philosophies and his advice brought me to a place of recovery. So keep watching. Thanks for watching. I'll teach you more next. Oh, hey, if you are watching this video and you're not new to natural treatments and you've done things before that have been successful at reducing your depression or anxiety symptoms, then please spread a little bit of hope by leaving a comment and letting other people know what you did that worked. Thanks.